All right, so as you know, our session today is about Lebanon. We're going to do, there's three different components. The first is about community resilience. The second is ideation and action. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. So our main question that we're trying to answer is how might we, the Lebanese diaspora and our supporters, utilize our voices and resources to bring aid to Beirut after the explosion. So before I move forward, I actually want to turn it over to Daniel, who's just going to give a little bit of a kind of a background and foundation for all of us to be on the same page moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Sarah. So as we know, like on August 4th, an explosion occurred in the port of Beirut. The explosion caused like about 220 deaths, 7,000 injuries, billions of dollars in damage, and left an estimated 300,000 people homeless. It was linked to ammonium nitrate that was confiscated in the Lebanese government and abandoned at the port, which was about like 6 years ago. So the Lebanese government declared like a state of emergency for 2 weeks in response to this disaster. So in its aftermath, protests erupted across Lebanon against the Lebanese government for the failure to prevent the explosion, and joined with like a larger series of protests that have been taking place since 2019. And then on August 10th, the Lebanese cabinet resigned along with the Prime Minister Hassan Diab, among others. So I think, kind of as Omar mentioned, we're kind of all in the same place, either Lebanese Americans or friends or people that just want to help but don't really know what to do. So that's kind of why we hope to kind of bring this ideation session in order to kind of get your voices heard and see what we can do about it.
Thanks, Daniel. Any questions really quick? I don't know if we'll be able to answer, but any questions about what's happening in Lebanon, just as like a temperature test? If everybody's kind of familiar, been reading about what's been happening.
Sarah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't hear about like the resignation of like the whole party or whatever, but is that a positive thing, or are people at least viewing it as a positive thing to like as initiation of change, or what's the feedback on that?
Yeah, good question. I think, well, so this is my own personal perspective, and maybe Daniel can and others can add more onto that. Resignation, I mean, that's a good thing, but I don't really know how much that means change is going to happen. They still might have influence, but might not have the title. So people can still play their hands at the political game and the political situation. So just because they've resigned, I think that's more of like a face and less of a actual change in the government or the situation in Lebanon. But I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that. That might be a little bit more informed. All right. Any other questions, guys? And gals? I just say guys in general.
No. Hey guys and gals, this is Sam here. I have a question regarding the post phase of all of this. Do you know if there's been any engagements from the neighboring countries, and in particular the Arab countries?
So I don't know if does anybody else want to answer that. I can jump in if.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear the question. So can you maybe repeat it louder?
Yeah, I'll repeat the question. The question was, has there been any engagement with the neighboring countries for like supporting Lebanon? And I think there was a second part to that. Do you mind repeating that one more time for me?
In particular, I mentioned like the Arab countries.
Yeah, kind of what I'm aware of is the biggest responses come from France, and a lot of donations have come from Arab countries, about like $500 million all around the world. But I haven't heard anything quite just related to specific Arab countries neighboring Lebanon, if that's the question.
Hey, I saw some, hi, this is Lorena, guys. I saw like a lot of donations coming in from the UAE, and then also Palestine donated blood and stuff like that. So that was really cool of them.
1,000 for each
Yeah,
member.
I've also heard from Morocco donating money, like, or just like Morocco as a, like Moroccans collectively have been donating. I don't know if that's through the government, but just like personal action. Um, so thanks
It,
for
it
adding on.
sounds like it was ad hoc, nothing structured that you guys are aware of.
Yeah, not that I'm familiar with at this time, but thanks, Lorena, for adding on to that, and Daniel too. All right, so and also, you know, I would love to, that might be a good, that might be a problem, so something we can look into. So I am gonna see, so all right, here we go. The session goals for today are, we're going to connect. So we're going to have a first part where we're going to put you all into breakout rooms, and we want you to talk about what you love about Lebanon, or if you don't know Lebanon very well, what you hope to see in the future. And we're going to have a bit of time to kind of share stories and just thoughts about Lebanon in a positive way, and also what we've heard in regards to the explosion, and what our families might need there. The second piece of this session is ideation. So this is going to be very rapid. You're going to only have 20 minutes to ideate. Yes, that is a brief period of time. The intent of that is it drives a solution very rapidly. And you're going to have to, then as different teams are going to pitch, and we're going to pick one idea collectively. It might be one idea, it might be a combination. We can talk about that more at that time. And finally, we're going to take action. We're going to use the last 40 minutes of the session to come together and just address that, address that one idea. And then we're going to have kind of like next steps after this session too, as a final component. So how we're going to do that exactly. Just kind of, now you can see what I just discussed here. All right, so Adriana, do you mind taking this over?
It'll work if I unmute myself.
Yeah, okay.
Well, thank you for joining us. And I'm Adriana Peñuela and work with Sarah as a co-founder of Imagining 5. So let's go to the next step. So we're saying that we want to build community resilience, right? So connecting to each other and understanding where each of us is at. So I'm gonna send you in breakout rooms. So it will be about 3 breakout rooms, and we're gonna give you 10 minutes to answer this question. And the question is, what is your favorite memory of your time in Lebanon? If you lived there at some point, or what are you excited to see when you go back to Lebanon in the future? So for those of you, maybe you're familiar with joining breakout rooms, you're gonna see a pop-up window that tells you to join. I think by this time, most of us have seen a Zoom breakout room. Okay, so just accept that breakout room invitation as it comes along, and yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna send you back into breakout rooms to answer these following questions. So what stories have you heard from your families in Lebanon or on the news about the explosion? What kind of stories have touched you? How have you felt? Or what have you been listening, hearing, feeling? Yeah, just start like that conversation with your team. And yeah, do you want to go to the same breakout rooms or we can switch it around?
Let's give everybody an opportunity to meet each other from different groups. So we'll switch it around if that's okay.
Okay.
Make your life not too difficult, I hope, Adriana.
No, not at all. Just a couple of clicks. So there you go. I'm gonna send you back again out there, and yeah, I'll see you in a little bit.
Awesome. All right, so now we're going to get into the second piece. It's the ideation, and Daniel's going to take this piece over. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So like this next section is all about ideating. I'm not sure how familiar a lot of people are with it, but essentially it's kind of like a rapid pace, giving your ideas in order to kind of come up with a solution altogether. And kind of the question we're targeting is like, how might we, the Lebanese diaspora, utilize our voices and resources to bring aid to Beirut after the explosion? So like, kind of the idea that we're thinking is, you know, it's like with a 24-hour focus on solution so that we can like rapidly make a change or rapidly help. So I know there's always like some long-term solution ideas, but maybe anything that we can kind of help immediately, especially like with given the situation, is kind of where like the focus should be. So I think we're about to break out and, oh, well, there you go. There are rules to ideation, or some sort of ideation rules. And the rules are a solution that can be accomplished in 24 hours. And feel free to speak up. So like any idea you have is it's not a bad idea. We can kind of work with that and help the idea grow. And then of course, it's all about like teamwork. So if someone comes up with an idea, maybe feel free to like tag on or add to it and kind of grow that idea. And then once we're done, we'll be like ready to pitch the following information. So like, who is our specific target population? Is it the families of the people that died, for instance, or is it kind of the people that were injured or the people that were homeless due to the situation? And like, what is the specific problem we want to solve? And what is the specific idea that you want to work? And then what are the resources within like our ideation group that we can utilize to make this idea work or idea happen? So I think we can get ready to jump into our ideation groups, but like, for example, an example of this is like a target population, which is like family of people who died in Beirut explosion. And like the specific problem that we're trying to solve is helping them fix their grievances or like their losses. And then we have like specific ideas to write and guide of how to bring the community together in the crisis, maybe like in Arabic for like the people to understand. And then like the resources we use are like Word documents, Arabic translations, crisis therapists, and social media marketing. This is kind of an example of what we're trying to like build here. Yeah, so if there's nothing else, we're gonna jump into our groups and then introduce each other and the resources that we can offer. Maybe identify like specific problems, list your ideas freely, and then create one pitch per team, and then we'll kind of jump back in and then present within 3 minutes.
Awesome, thank you, Dan. Any questions before we jump out into the breakout rooms? I know it's like pretty quick, so just want to see if there's any questions.
So to add to Daniel's and Sarah's, so I just linked you in the chat a document. So in that document, what you're gonna be finding, maybe Sarah, can you open up the document and we can talk through it. So where you're gonna find is a section for you to add the ideas as part of section Team Ideation Workshop. Okay, so if you go down, yeah, this is the Team Ideation Workshop. So within that space, each of your teams are gonna go ahead and add freely your target population, the one that you're going to be developing for the list of team ideas. So like, just feel free to let that document go long. It's okay for you, just brainstorm and dump as many ideas in that space. And then I will give you the 10-minute mark. You will see a message from me so that you can start putting it into a pitch, okay? So you're gonna have 20 minutes at least, and then at the middle, you're gonna see a message from me. So like, be aware of that little message that pops up at the top. And then that's when you're gonna start building that pitch, specific target population, a specific problem, a specific idea, and resources needed. So is everyone able to access the document? Let me know if you cannot see it.
Just give a thumbs up.
Thumbs up? You're good? Okay. So now I'm gonna send you to the breakout rooms. Okay, seems like everyone is back. Let's see. Good. Awesome. So hopefully that was a quick wrap up of ideas and like what came to mind in the 24-hour period that we can create action and respond to this emergency. So let's see. Sarah, can you share your screen?
Totally. And I want to just make a statement really quick. So don't worry about like the short time frame and not having a perfect idea or not having a right idea. We, for example, for this session, we came up with it in like a few hours. We threw it together, we sent it out, and then it became this over time. So just, you know, give yourselves a chance. Don't worry. Just you got to start somewhere. So I just want to make sure that you know. Good job so far.
Yeah, definitely. Give yourself a pat in the back because yeah, that it is not easy to come up with a full flesh idea in just 10, 15 minutes or so that we spend.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna go and share our pitches. So yeah, as you know, like we want you to tell us the specific target population, the specific problem, and the specific idea that you're solving, and what are the resources that you need. So each team, each team will have like 3 minutes to present, and then we'll open up for maybe 30 seconds of questions, and yeah, that's what we will do. Okay, so who wants to, well, team number 1.
So I'm presenting for team 1. Did you want to just share what we have in the doc for now?
Yeah, let's open that document.
Sure, do that.
So you can follow me as I go. As you get that up, my name is Tamara. I'm from Phoenix. I am born and raised here, but Lebanese, and I am a med student. So nice to meet anyone who I haven't met yet.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right, it's coming up now. What group were you in, if you don't mind?
The first one.
The first one. All right, great.
I assumed we were just going in order, so that's why I hopped in.
There you go.
Okay, so our target population are people in need of sanitary or hygiene products. So because of all the homelessness issue and everyone's homes being broken down, all the grocery stores being broken, and there's not any resources to sanitary hygiene, we wanted to focus on that population. And we specifically didn't want to say female hygiene products because there are also other genders that don't identify as female who also need those hygiene products. So our idea is to, we want to like help with that problem. So whether they're not able to get it because of a lack of income or low wages or inflation or the homelessness issue or the lack of access. So our idea was to contact a small NGO that seems to have started up on Instagram. It's called Ideation. I don't know if you guys have seen that. People have been sharing that and asking for donations to them, and they're trying to distribute hygiene products to people who are struggling from the situation. So we wanted to contact them through Instagram, like a small group of us, and ask them what resources they specifically need. Because us from here, we can't really tell what they really need there. So maybe it's not the feminine hygiene products that they need. It might be the money that they need so that everyone can go buy them. Like maybe they're already available, or that certain NGO needs mentorship to make sure that they can grow bigger and be able to supply more people. Let's see. So we're going to connect with them, and then some ideas we could do for them is we could either fundraise for them, help share their page so that more people donate. We could even build a website for them because they don't have a website, they're just on Instagram. And then if they need more mentorship, we could find NGOs that are here that are related to global health and women's hygiene that can help mentor them and help them grow and make sure that they're doing the most that they can. And then if they actually just need the supplies themselves, we could do some type of donation drive or connect them to a company that can help them have more of those supplies. So the resources that we have that we could offer are being web developers. We could have liaisons between NGOs and people on the ground. And we can also have content developers to make any content for their Instagram or their website. That's all I have.
So does anyone have any questions for Tamara and team number 1? Okay. Well, the time is up, so we can continue with team number 2.
So I'm Omar. I'm speaking on behalf of team number 2. And so our general sort of goal for our idea was to try to get as much reach as possible, like outreach as possible. So we're sort of targeting like pretty much anyone who's like diaspora who wants to donate. Like, so it's like our idea is to just try to increase donations. So that would be like internationally. And the specific problem is trying to make donations more transparent. There's just tons and tons and tons of donation links, and people don't 100% know where the money is ending up. They may say like one thing and like ends up going in somebody's bank account, or like, you know, like it's just like all over the place. So we were hoping to sort of like curate a list of like, okay, here's a list of donation sites. Here's what each specific donation site is going to, like, and we can like sort of vet them out and like verify like they're actually like they're on the ground helping in some way, or like, you know, there's like it's actually being used directly to help this like disaster for some specific purpose, and we can categorize those as needed and everything. And the idea was essentially like creating either a website or a Facebook page. Facebook page sounds a lot easier, to be honest, like in the short time frame, that kind of just clearly and transparently shows like that donation flow and like the end to end of like what's happening with the money. Additionally, we can provide like media, so like photos and videos. Like we can actually like interview, like, I mean, basically like get recordings of like, you know, maybe like some family members or people we know that live there that were affected in some way, and we can have them recount their stories or just like talk, you know, like using cell phone camera or like anything really simple, like, and just have those as like some like kind of like more of a selling point of like why like this is like such a serious issue, like for those that are just less informed, and also just have like additional information like on that Facebook page or website. So like kind of like an all-in-one guide, like donation, like transparent donation links and stories like from real people that were affected. And we would obviously like try to go into like advertising space, like, and try to get the reach higher. And like, since like we can leverage like a Facebook page, like Facebook platform, or like use Google to like, you know, really like push this out there more and get it on more eyes, get more eyes on it. Yep, that's it.
Thank you, Omar.
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions for team number 2? Okay, we can jump into team number 3 then.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Lama. I currently live in Boston and I am Lebanese Venezuelan. So basically, as my team and I were discussing how we're going to, like, what we wanted to focus on and what our idea is, we were talking about different vulnerable populations. Obviously, everyone in Lebanon at the moment is vulnerable, but we're talking about populations that were vulnerable even before the explosion and were affected by many different things. So we narrowed it down to Syrian and Palestinian refugees. And so I lived in Lebanon for 2 years. And when I lived in Lebanon, I founded a community outreach program that was based in the Burj al-Brajne refugee camp. So I have a contact there. And the idea is that, first of all, I'm going to reach out to her and figure out exactly what are the needs at the moment for Syrian and Palestinian refugees and how exactly we can aid. We decided to focus on the necessities for the aftermath, whether it's clothing, housing, access to food, or like shelter, as previously mentioned, employment. So as you may or may not know, refugees in Lebanon, obviously because of the economic crisis from before, were already struggling financially. Many of them were unemployed, and there is a huge percentage of unemployment at the moment. So they might need help within the financial capacity as well. We thought about, so yeah, let me just go through the pitch. So specific target population, the Syrian and Palestinian refugees. The problem is that they are underrepresented in the media. They also face xenophobia in Lebanon. As you may know, Lebanon obviously took in a lot of refugees. I think it's like 1/3 or like 2/3, I think. I'm blanking on the statistics, but of our population is made up of refugees. Lebanon was already a country that was struggling, and obviously with taking in more people than they can properly assist, the situation exacerbated for everyone. The idea at the moment is a clothing drive. That's just what we decided on, but we envision that that idea is going to shift and become more specific in certain ways, or just be expanded on. And at the moment, the resources needed are me reaching out to the person I know, which her name is Mariam El-Shahad. So nice plug for her. Recently on the UNRWA Instagram, she was interviewed and she was talking about, she's Palestinian. So she was just talking about how Palestinians in Lebanon are currently helping the situation. So feel free to go read that and check out what she had to say. But I'm just going to reach out to her to figure out exactly what they need and how we can move forward with helping that refugee camp and just refugee populations in Beirut.
Thank you, Lama. Does anyone have any questions for Lama and team number 3? I love it. This group is so timely. It is perfect. It is 3 minutes on the dot. Okay, let's go to the next slide of the next piece of content, and I'll pass it along to Sarah to take us there.
Great job, everybody. Some good pitches in like a very short period of time. So I appreciate that. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come to a collective agreement. So I want to make sure to state that, I mean, all of you guys have done a great job. What we're looking at is just a short time frame that we can create something. What I want to state is, we can vote on something and then add element. We're going to have the next part after this agreement is we're going to have a discussion on taking action. So we can combine different elements of the pieces that you all had come up with in your different teams. But for now, we're going to pick one idea and then we can build off of that and take action on it in the next step. So Adrian, just maybe we can repeat really. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. The first one was sanitary hygiene product reach. The second one was donation transparency. And the third was refugee clothing drive and beyond, refugee camps, supporting them. So go ahead and take a vote here. And
pick one?
Yeah, I think, can you only pick one? I think, yeah.
So you have to click submit, so I can just try clicking.
Are you allowed to vote for your own group?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
That's what I did.
Hey, don't everybody do it. Just kidding. Be honest with yourselves. Whatever you feel is, something that's achievable really soon.
We are at 75% voted. We're missing a couple of people.
Oh, sorry, I'm still deciding.
Okay.
Mine went away. Is there a way of getting it back? I don't know what happened to it.
If you voted already, I think it goes away. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll now and you will see where you landed.
All right, so we ended at pitch 1, which was the sanitary hygiene product reach. Alrighty, so let's go back and Tamara, do you mind presenting that one more time to just remind everybody what that was?
Yeah, I can.
Thanks. Oops, sorry here. I'm having some.
All right. So what we're thinking of, I'm just going to talk about, since we already know the issue, is we want the sanitary products to be distributed. So we were going to, a couple of us were going to contact in a little group chat on Instagram with that organization, JETHIC, and possibly have a meeting with them, see and talk to them about what is the actual problem and how can we help them grow and distribute more hygiene products, exactly what the problem is, and make sure that they're actually doing something with the money that they're receiving. So that was the first step. And then after we figure out what that is, we can use the resources that we have in this group to distribute the tasks, basically. So if they wanted to build a website, then we start working on a website. Some of us can work on the content. And then if they want to get bigger, we can have people be a liaison to find a larger NGO that does similar work in global health, who can help them grow their organization and make sure they're being an effective organization. And then make sure like if they need more donations, we can help use our own connections to advertise more. And if they just need products like supplies, then we can work on either donation drives or trying to get companies here to donate some of their product to help the cause in Lebanon.
Awesome. Okay, great.
Anything I missed from my group? If anyone in my group wants to add anything.
No, you nailed it.
All right, great. Okay, so it looks like Adriana's already ahead of me. Thank you for adding that on. Okay, so the next piece is expansion. So we're gonna take the next 40 minutes really to build this out and make it real. You know, team one, you had already had some steps. We're gonna add them in here, just initial tasks. And then together we'll see what else we can do, maybe in parallel to that conversation. So here we go. So I think you had mentioned, and also everybody just go onto this document. This is 14 people, so we're not gonna do a breakout room at this time. We're gonna try to do it together. And then if we find, this is kind of gonna be a little bit of like a flow. We're gonna see what happens. If we need to do a breakout room to solve a particular piece, we'll do that with a few people. But if not, in the meantime, we're just gonna try to fill in what we have all together in one room. So I'm gonna actually assign, you know, somebody to edit this that's, you know, not me. So that way it kind of is out back into the group. Who would like to be the kind of just the document, like the note taker on this document here? Anybody willing to volunteer?
Hey, sir, I'll do it. Oh, Sarah said that can go.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so let's just document here what was already kind of the first few steps. The first one was meet with, can you tell me again the name of the organization? Let's see.
It's Jeytik, so Jeyeytik. So kind of our idea was to kind of connect with them, since it looks like they already have feet on the ground and are kind of focusing on that.
That was on Instagram, so it has the ad.
Mm-hmm. Right. So kind of what we also noticed was that they only are on Instagram and they're a small group. So kind of maybe reach out to them and see what resources they need, whether it's like a bigger platform, maybe like through a website to give information, or yeah, just kind of see what they're looking for.
That's one thing that we can do like right now, like right away. Can someone go and like them start asking questions?
Yeah, I called them, so as soon as they accept it, I'm planning on reaching out.
Okay, actually, can you assign that to somebody? So who has contact with Jeyeytik on Instagram? Does anybody in our group here?
I think Tamara just follows them on Insta.
Oh, okay, great. So tomorrow we'll do that. Perfect.
Sorry, Tamara.
No, thanks, Lorena. I love that. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're making decisions here and just doing it. So Tamara, if you can do that like right now, perfect. And let's mark it off, actually.
I zoned out. What was I supposed to do? Sorry.
Can you contact Jeyeytik like right now and ask them about what they might need?
Right.
And so let me know when you, let's just say contact right now, and then we'll add meet later, if that's okay, Daniel. I'm just gonna edit that. So this is how we operate at, this is how we operate in general. It's just like, do it, like boom. So I'll leave this one for later. Who would like to be a part of the conversation when they meet? So tomorrow, I'm assuming you.
So Lorena,
Hi.
Rasha, and who else wants to be part of that conversation?
What
Yeah,
about,
definitely. I'd love to be part of the conversation.
okay. Actually, Lemma, I think you'd be amazing for it just because you already know NGOs in Lebanon. Like, I think it just makes a lot of sense. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, cool. And if you don't mind, I'm going to add one other person there. Maya, I know that you're pretty connected as well, so I'm just going to add you in there too. Is that okay? Okay, great. Okay, so,
Sarah, can you also add me, please?
oh, yeah, who said that?
Rasha.
That's Rasha.
Rasha. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
For sure. Okay, awesome. I like that it's a huge group because then we're going to be like a powerhouse. Like, look at us. What is something that we can do? So other than waiting, so we're going to contact them and then we're going to wait. What can we do right now? Is it that we start contacting companies to see what their available, hygiene products might be that they're willing to donate to Lebanon?
So wait, I don't know if I'm out of the loop on what, do we know exactly or anything about what resources they have?
Jayetic? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with them. Can anybody answer that?
I am not familiar.
So I actually have a question. Let's take a step back. How did you come up with hygiene products? Is that something that they do?
Yes.
Okay.
We came up with them because we were thinking about we want to solve this issue of hygiene products. And this just happened to be an NGO that I knew of. And then we're like, we can just reach out, see what they need, see if we can help.
On their Instagram page, have they noted anything about a lack of hygiene products or a lack of accessibility or any sort of problems that they're kind of reaching out to the community for?
I think just in general, which I assume it's like a very normal problem to have in any developing country, especially with all the crises we're having. So I would not be surprised if it was a huge issue that just nobody knew about. But
also, like, I'm sure that there's others out there. So like, we're not saying that we have to be stuck to one specific NGO or one organization or one group. But I think I think it's important for all of us to kind of discuss what options we have. But that was just an idea that we came up with as a group. So like as far as what organizations we should connect with. So feel free to suggest more. We're not tied to anything.
That's okay. It's a good start. I want to actually.
And I also think Tamara mentioned another one as well that I think did stuff.
I mentioned some NGOs that we have here that do that kind of work that we could connect them with, or because we need people on the ground, so we just have to find someone. But honestly, even like other NGOs that are there, such as like Beit al-Baraka, like they have to be supplying these things if they're supplying any type of like clothing and food and toilet paper, like they're probably supplying this, so we could also join with them if we wanted to.
I'm going into their Instagram page, and there's two people that seem to be running this. One is this Rayan Carme, and she has more posts. She might actually be the person to contact.
Do you mind adding her name onto that document, if you don't mind?
No.
Thanks. So something else that we would need to do is see what companies would be willing to donate hygiene products. Actually, I was wondering, I'm going to task this to two people. So I was going to task it to Timmy and Bassem. If you guys don't mind, could you do a quick little research on some companies that have donated hygiene products in the past? I would be curious to know a little bit about that. And maybe you can just add that information, right here, right underneath this little box. Sound good? Okay.
Sure, I can help out with that too.
Okay, thanks, Vada. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. And you can just add it right there. Another one is like distribution. So what does that look like? Does anybody, I know somebody had said that they are familiar with distribution channels in Lebanon. So, and just in the submission. So anybody familiar with that?
I was just going to take a step back before we dive into that one on the hygiene products. Like, what do we envelope or intel within that? Like, obviously, it's such a big category. Anybody here kind of, has a couple of pointers as to what products will be specific? Because I'm looking at Ideation here, and to Tamara's point, so it seems like they're focused on like women kind of things and more specific toward like a particular angle. But what is it that we want to kind of dive into as far as products? Is it just women products, a particular area within women's products, or?
I think this is where Tamara did mention that it's important to look at it from a global health perspective, where we need to be culturally specific in terms of like what works for folks here who menstruate may not work for folks who are in Lebanon. So I think we need to bridge that gap first before we decide. Like, it's not us who get to decide what products are going to be suitable for them. It's trying to see what folks would access already down there. Like, I know in terms of tampons, like I didn't grow up with tampons, and I come here, and I'm in Canada, by the way, and I was like, what the hell is this thing, right? So like, that wasn't really something that, and even still my mom's like, you can't use those, it's not allowed. So it's a weird thing that I don't think folks who like grew up in North America or like white folks would necessarily think of. But Tamara definitely brought an important point up in terms of the global health piece.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, what are the menstruation products that might be new? What else, like hygiene? Like, is it toothbrush and toothpaste? Like, even just something like that doesn't necessarily have to be female.
Diapers?
Diapers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's what I was trying to get at, right? Because the hygiene umbrella is so huge, you can go eat any way, shape, or form we want it. And I think the conversation that JTIC is going to have, if that's the NGO that we want to talk to first, it would be nice if they say, hey, we'd love help in this arena. And of course, as a research team, we can go and figure out that arena. Who has those products? How do we get it to JTIC? What's our distribution channel going to be? How much the cost is going to be? Or how do we get the donation for them? All that kind of stuff. And I'm open to what the team is saying here. What I don't want to do is kind of go research everything under the sun. And then JT comes back and is like, no, we just need this actually. So it'd be nice to kind of hear from them and then drive the action, accordingly based on the needs that they want to go after.
So I totally hear you, Bassem. Like, I recognize that we don't want to do all the research for everything, but I guess, I don't know, maybe this is like just the way that, I guess when I'm operating in regards to just like rapidness, sometimes like what can we do up front that makes it easier when we do find out? And that's the question that I'm asking. Like, what can we do research on right now, so that way when they tell us, all we have to do is just very minimally hit a button, or we already have the contacts ready and we just say, hey, this is what we're thinking about, go. So that's like that's the mind frame in which I'm coming, that at least personally I'm coming from, but I would love to hear from you guys.
Sarah, that's a really great point. But Sam, I just want to in general, I think for me specifically, like my biggest concern is like, sure, we can cap it at like, okay, sure, we want to focus on hygiene products, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but if we keep it too broad, then we're not going to have as large of a supply for the most needed thing. I mean, I feel like women's products are not going to be quickly available. If they get shipped over there, they're going to be not lost in, everything else that gets donated, but it's not going to be like the biggest focus that people are donating. They're going to be donating everything that they can think of that's hygiene products, and not specifically focusing on a certain target. So I think that's something that we should keep in mind just kind of as we move forward, is the more specific our target is, the better we can make a difference. So, yeah.
Totally.
Agreed.
That makes sense.
So one point to bring up, I don't know if you have watched the documentary Period, End of Sentence. They make their own hygiene products for women as well. So maybe like having a parallel conversation with them to see how they went about it, and then like maybe we can do that in a way with this organization or someone else on the ground. So yeah, just a parallel topic, and I can reach out.
Can I just make a recommendation too? For like the people that are meeting with Jayite, can we talk, like list some talking points or like questions that we want to ask? That way our conversation is as beneficial and like like targeted as possible.
Yeah, that sounds good. What do you think? Do you mind leading that kind of discussion on what you think might be a good like specific questions?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, like, first of all, just branching off of like that conversation of like hygiene products is like, since they're the ones on the ground and they are going to be our contact, it's asking them what supplies they need, and kind of going off of what Rasha said with understanding like cultural differences. They would be able to tell us what exactly the menstrual products that they're looking for to hand out are, so they can help us out with that. Another thing is going off of like the distribution channels. It's asking them if they know people in the US that are flying to Beirut that can bring things with them, or if what would be the best way, whether we should like pack like suitcases with people going from Beirut to Boston, or if we should actually do an actual like freight cargo or like shipment and have it go through one of the other ports. So I think they would be able to help us out with that too. And also knowing exactly who is our like person on the ground that will be receiving the donations, like once they land there. I think it's important to know all of that information in advance so it's as reliable as possible.
Sorry, I just say something really fast. So I'm in Miami, and actually my family has been collecting donations for like over the past week, from all over the US and like even out of the country. So we were able to, we've already packed 12 bags and we've sent already a couple. So I just wanted to give you guys like a heads up. At the airport, we were expecting some kind of like them to stop us for something, and they did end up stopping us, and we had to produce like a letter basically we were donating medical supplies, so we had to produce a letter from the hospital basically saying like, this passenger is arriving with X amount of bags and is carrying these kind of products, and it had to be signed and stamped from the hospital, and like different things that we didn't expect. So we had to like rush last minute to like kind of get those letters, which we ended up doing. But just to give you guys a heads up that if you do decide to do like the thing with passenger traveling with bags, you do have to have some kind of like point of contact or something to be prepared at the airport, because they will give you some kind of trouble with that. And we've had that happen already twice. So now we're prepared and we've already arranged all those arrangements, but that's something to keep in mind if you are going to do like personal travel and things like that.
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. My initial question for them would kind of be like, what actions are they taking now? Like, is it just information, or are they actually like providing for people, or like, and what's their strategy to provide for people? So it's kind of understanding like what their goal is before kind of throwing our assistance, trying to get like an understanding.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, my line keeps cutting out, so I couldn't hear anything. I don't know if anyone said anything, so never mind.
No, you're good, Nana. We added in your comment about accommodations for any personal travelers, like a letter of some sort. So thanks. Actually, I had no idea about that, so that's really good piece of information.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share. I'm just putting all the links that I'm finding, from one Instagram to the next link to the other one. Right now, I came across ways to help in different NGOs that need urgent donations. It's a third link that I have there. Just giving you an update.
Just as a heads up, folks, Tamara asked how we're going to stay in contact with one another after this meeting.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, I have
Go
added
ahead, Adriana.
at the bottom of this document a space for you to write your name and your contact information. I'll finish building the table in a minute. But yeah, if you can go in there and write your name and write your phone number and well, we have your email address. But
Are
so
you
we
planning
can
on making a group
WhatsApp.
chat? Oh, WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do WhatsApp. WhatsApp is in Lebanon too. It's the most effective like form of contact. So if you know we need to add somebody else into the group that's in Lebanon, then we can just do that really easily, and they'll have access to see our chat as well. So that would be good. Any other suggestions? Maybe like, is there another method?
So the people that are involved with reaching out to their Instagram group, I've added them on I've created a little Instagram group for us. So that's, I guess, another way to contact each other.
Awesome.
But I know like some people here don't have Instagram. I know Elisar was one of them. So probably WhatsApp would be the best method.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes left, so you want to just go back up and create a general structure. We don't have to go into the details on how to do each of these tasks, but maybe just go into a general what else is needed.
Yeah, good. So let's see here. Maybe just the distribution channel piece is something that I'd be curious about. Huh.
So we didn't really touch on that, right? Like we haven't talked about like how we would get products over there, correct?
Right, we have not.
Do we want to?
Yeah, I think that'd be important.
Sorry.
Or yeah, what do you? I mean, I'm trying to think of other ways, but yeah, go ahead.
So I had actually hopped off a little earlier because there's some people in DC who are shipping like several different categories over to Lebanon, and I guess they're getting like airplane sponsors to do it. So like they're not actually paying for it, which is good. Then they have one airplane that's taking their shipments to Lebanon, and then they're working on securing another one. But as far as like Costco, they haven't officially gotten like an in-kind contribution. So that's an option too. And then they have like, I guess, people that they've been in contact with over there that will be receiving the products and hopefully ensuring that they get them. So that's, something we can think about. I can ask them which airlines are doing an in-kind. So that's something to think about. I also think that the NGOs, the bigger NGOs out there, like one of the second ones that Tamara mentioned, probably already have systems in place if you want to do donations. So I think that's probably an easy question to ask. Not the one that we've picked, but the other one Tamara mentioned. I don't remember what it's called. It was like Bait something. But yeah, so that's just something to think about. And I'm sure like the Red Cross also has a system over there as well. So yeah.
I just wanted to build off of your point. So I know FedEx actually just is one of the sponsors. I mean, I was in contact with someone. There's a full flight leaving at the end of this week of medical supplies, and FedEx actually gave them the whole plane for free. Now, I don't imagine that we could fill up an entire plane. I mean, it would be great if we can with hygiene and menstrual products, but we can always reach out to FedEx and see if they're willing to give us like 2-3 25-pound boxes for free and ship them for us. So that's someone that we can contact.
Yeah. Sorry to kind of add on that. I didn't know if FedEx was doing that, but actually FedEx supply chain is like the current client I'm working with.
Oh,
so maybe I can reach out with my contacts there. I'm like friends with one of the directors. Yeah, I can even reach out now.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
or what else do we need? I don't see, sorry, she dropped off. Okay, so after distribution channels, then yeah, potentially updating resources in terms of website or reach for them. So who is, I hear a ton of people do website development here. So who wants to jump in and help potentially in that regard?
Yeah, I can help with that. I mean, first we'd have to obviously see like what their needs are, and then yeah, just go from there. I mean, like, I don't want to like jump the gun and be like, hey, and then they just like no.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this.
I mean, they wouldn't go no, but you know.
Always need a website. Yeah, that's good.
I think that yeah, this would be like a step 2. Like, you know, first talk to them, and then, you know, once we've communicated with them and know what we need to do, then we just do it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Sorry, quick question. Who was it that was discussing the FedEx? Was it Llama or is it Lorena?
Yeah, it was Llama. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I'll just connect with you.
Okay, sounds good.
Quick.
And Omar, I can help you also with the webpage. I'm learning about it. You're probably gonna teach me more about it, but maybe I can help with the product quality. Maybe we'll call it that.
Sure. And I think, I don't know who it was, but somebody, if we're gonna actually create a website, like there's also like design, and I think somebody was mentioning they are good at design. I can't remember who.
Was it Farah?
Yeah. I can help with design. I don't have any experience in coding, but I can help with like the design part.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, that would actually be great.
If we use like a super easy platform, like just any really easy platform that doesn't really necessarily use coding, I'm definitely good with helping with that. And I could do like content and material building as well. And help with that.
I think it would just depend on what the needs are, right? Like, do they need a whole full-blown website, or do they need something that's just a platform, right? Like, if it's just a platform, we don't even need to we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can just utilize whatever is out there to just get us up and running. Otherwise, like, if they need particular needs that's not provided out of the box out of other resources, then we can just do it ourselves. But this is more of like a respond to like what they need rather than just.
And I think a lot of it is going to be that, you know, having that conversation with them, because they might say, you know what, we have this and this is taking care of, you know, maybe this area here, but, you know, we're not covering this other area there, or, you know, I don't know. We would just need to talk with them.
Yep.
Awesome. So we have 4 minutes left. So just to summarize everything, we have some steps. We've contacted Jaitik, and actually, I don't know if you guys know, but Jaitik means like you have your period in Arabic. Yeah. Just in case you wanted to know that. So we've contacted them already. And then if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and create that WhatsApp group for all of us. And I believe it's tomorrow. Once you hear back, please comment on the WhatsApp group for us, and I'll probably set up a follow-up meeting in like about a week. But what I expect to happen within this week time frame is that we've heard back from Jaitik, and we've been able to meet with them for the first time, and that's what I would like to see in 1 week's time.
I wonder if it would be better to have it sooner, especially at the beginning. You know, maybe this Saturday, Sunday.
I love that. I was like doing it more for you guys. I'm in. Let's do that this weekend. Like, we can set up 1 hour, just kind of catch up really quick. What's the status? Does that sound good?
Yeah, and we can send a doodle in the WhatsApp group just to align a time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Actually, I think Saturday would be a great time for me. Just fine.
We'll send out a doodle poll. Basically, you can all tell us when your availability is on different times within the weekend.
Okay.
Cool. I'm excited about this. So thank you guys for your time today, and we'll see. I'm sure we'll have something up really quick.
And before you go, can you smile with a thumbs up?
Oh yeah. Get a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we're here to make a difference. So it is
Yes.
really good.
Thank you for all the facilitators and the guys that put this together. All of you. Thank you. This is a big help.
Thanks for organizing this, y'all.
No problem.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll just do a little quick slide of that.
It's very well done. Yeah, I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you. So thank you to Adriana and to Daniel for all their efforts, and I'll pat myself on the back too. So thank you guys.
Nice.